What if survival guilt is the same old human struggle in new clothes? The language and setting around survival guilt have changed, but the underlying human need may be older than any generational label. Habits passed down generation through generation, even in our DNA. One generation may show it through silence, another through overwork, another through online behavior, while each is trying to solve a similar inner problem. To understand our humanity. And for some reason, we've been conditioned that we need to be guilty of something to survive. Please use your own judgment when considering these topics. I'm simply sharing how I see things through my own experience, perspective, and my own lenses, and I will share other lenses as well at random. And I invite you to leave comments and share your lens and how you see things. I appreciate you. Welcome. We have here a bit of a friction or a duality, if you may. Holding on versus carrying forward. So, did generations become psychological different, or did survival guilt simply found a new form? Instead of asking which generation handled survival guilt correctly, we might ask what each generation can teach the other about carrying forward, moving forward. Because every single generation, something is missing, something is lost. And then it's up to us. It was not your fault. It's not my fault, but it's our responsibility to see the way out somehow, one way. I know that you might say, well, wait a minute, wait a minute. I didn't ask to be here. Well, you could have hung a left or you could have hung a right, but no, you kept on going. 5 million of you and you made it. So you, from the very beginning, you wanted to be here. And this is an experience where we all learn, by the way. This is not, it might feel hellish sometimes, but to be honest, in my humble opinion, the way I see things, I'm nothing but an expression of, let's call it the source for now. I don't want to put beliefs in you or anything like that, but let's call it the force for now. I am passing through. I'm a reflection of something else. I am not seeking anything as I have everything. Through the lens of the Bible, I want to say Ecclesiastes, I might have said it wrong, apology. Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiastes, well, Ecclesiastes 3 from 1 to 4. This is about grief, talking about that grief has a season. Grief has a time frame. There's a time for everything. You know, we got what is that? Spring. We got summer, fall, winter. So in Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1 through 4, I'm paraphrasing here. It describes human life as containing different seasons, including a time to weep and a time to laugh, time to have fun. Not every day is the same. Sometimes you wake up wonderful, feeling wonderful. Sometimes you wake up feeling a type of way. Uh, it's up to you, because if you declare and you put a mindset that somehow things are not going to work out for you, you are not wrong at all. I say go for it. You're not wrong at all. If you decide that things is going to work out for you, perhaps you have a chance at experiencing a different type of day. We really choose, because the way we go at night, uh, our train of thoughts when we go to sleep, guess what's gonna wake up? We are telling our inner self and convince our inner self and convince our ego, our persona, to go and seek those things out for us. Therefore, you cannot be on the same season every time. I understand that the mind is going to say, no, but it's someone else. No, it's something this. No, it's this one. As long as it's something or someone else responsible for it, or it's someone else's fault for that matter, you'll never take responsibility. So, this passage on Ecclesiastes, it does not suggest that grief should simply disappear. Instead, grief and continue living are both they're presented as legitimate part of human experience. We are, from the light also has a darkness, but we have been groomed to think that darkness is not there, is there to hurt us, is there to hunt us, but it's actually there to prepare us and to show you we are the darkness too. We are the light as well. Survival guilt can sometimes create an type of a unspoken rule. If I laugh, if I succeed, love again, or enjoy my life, am I somehow betraying the person or people who did not get that chance? Sometimes I hear comments like, I play video games. Listen, I love video games. I like video game. It makes me disconnect for a little bit. I like writing. But then I hear comments like, "Oh, I don't have a mic. Yeah, I'm poor." Okay, wait a minute. You playing this game and you poor? This is not about being poor or being rich. This is about survival guilt. I manifest that I will acquire a microphone eventually. I do what needs to be done, where I move myself and create momentum to acquire that one way or another. Now, my humble understanding is that Neville Goddard, the wish fulfilled, the things you speak, it bounces back to you. If you feel self guilt, you will be guilt. But there is a duality within you, and this is what I'm sharing. Don't be afraid because of others, because everyone has their own struggle. Everyone carry their own weight. Everyone carry their own guilt. But once you see the light for yourself, you'll be able to help others. But you must get help yourself. Understand, you don't need to fix anything. You might not be perfect, but you are complete. So Ecclesiastes create a space for a different possibility. Mourning and living doesn't necessarily cancel each other out. So the friction is, say, for instance, holding on. If I release some of the pain, perhaps I am leaving them behind or carrying forward. Perhaps remembering them does not require remaining emotionally frozen beside what was lost. I'm not telling anyone how quickly grief should, change necessarily. However, there is a season for mourning, mourning. See, I'm trying to say a big word here. There's a season to be sad. There's a season of sadness. Emotions go through our system, go through our body. Feelings. But the most important thing about this season that is not a deadline for it. It's a season. This too shall pass. I believe the Lord of the Ring, if I'm not mistaken. I want to ponder on this. Can we continue living fully without trading our joy as betrayer of what or who we lost? I mean, think about it for a moment. Because these are the things that's based off the title, the survival guilt. Who, what, where, when, whom. The Bhagavad Gita, to use this on a different lens. This is Arjuna, more anguish. It's around chapter 1 or 2. At the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna becomes overwhelmed when he actually sees that acting will involve people he loves, respect, and feels deeply connected to, his own family member. He's caught between attachment, responsibility, grief, and he's also challenged with what he believes is supposed to do next. Sometimes we're stuck there too. So this is not a direct teaching about modern clinical survival guilt. It's simply a way to see the human tension surrounding grief and responsibility. And a lot of us do it, and sometimes we don't even recognize it. Oh, I didn't get this because of that. And our mind goes like SpongeBob, imagination. Our mind goes out and connect dots that does not exist. So Arjuna's struggle raises a question very close to our duality and friction. How do I move forward when moving forward itself feels morally troubling? So survival guilt can contain something similar. A person may feel an obligation to remain psychologically connected to suffering. Why did I get out? Why am I doing well when they didn't? What right do I have to move forward? The Gita brought a movement as Arjuna to discern what he's responsible for rather than becoming completely immobilized by emotional conflict. That gives us access to a second dimension. The question shifts from how do I stop feeling guilty to what responsibility does this experience actually leave me with? There are many things that we could think of, and it's based on how we feel about it, first and foremost. Perhaps the answer for one person is remembrance. For another, perhaps, is for service, becoming a different kind of parent, a different type of friend, different type of leader, different type of sibling, or simply different type of human being. Can this be a way to carry forward? I like to ponder on this. What if honoring what happened is not only about carrying the pain, but also deciding what the experience asks us to do with the life that remains, the one that you currently have? Through the lens of Carl Jung, integration rather than rejection. A recurring Jungian theme is that difficult parts of psychological, different part of psychological life, they are not necessarily resolved by pushing them away. Greater wholeness involves becoming conscious of what we would rather avoid, and finding a way to integrate it into the larger personality of ourselves. Not the persona, but the larger personality within ourselves. We will expand on that as we go along. So this is obviously a Jungian or Carl Jung psychological perspective. So this is again not a clinical explanation of survival guilt. It's gonna, but I'll say the disclaimer because well, Ponder 99 told me, you know. Perhaps healing means making space for what was lost and what is still here. Survival guilt can create two competing realities. Something painful happened, or something painful happened. Or I'm still here. Something painful happened, something painful happened, and I'm still here. I made it, I'm present. The mind may feel pressure to choose between them, your thoughts, your programming. If I live fully, perhaps I am minimizing what happened. If I remain attached to suffering, perhaps I am proving that what happened mattered. So, through the lens of Carl Jung, that opens more possibility. Maybe the task is not to defeat one side, but to learn how both truths can exist within the same life. See, because inside of you, there's something that the things you want to do, don't do, and the things you don't want to do is the one that you do. This is all here. Yeah. And it's going to put the blame on you. So, through the lens of Carl Jung, again, I'm going to continue with that. So if both truth can be the same, that could also help our generation angle or generational angle. And what is that? Some people may integrate painful experience through silence and duty, as others through therapy, public conservation or public conversation or conserve the social environment, like activism or art, online communities, or openly naming emotions. Those expressions can differ without necessarily proving that the underlying human experience has fundamentally changed. I like to ponder on this. What if healing doesn't require leaving the past behind, but finding a place for it that no longer requires us to stop living? If we're able to live without it, I say that's a win-win. That's a win right there. So let me bring this back over here. Ecclesiastes asks, can grief and life exist together? The Bhagavad Gita asks, what responsibility remains after suffering? Karyan asks, how do we make what happened part of our story without allowing it to become the whole story? When carrying the past begins to feel like the only way to honor it, how do we know the difference between remembering what was lost and becoming unable to carry forward with what remains? You're still in there. Perhaps healing means making space for what we lost and what is still here. When survival guilt appears, perhaps the most revealing question is not what it says about us, but what we do with it next. I know, different era, different expression, but perhaps the same old human ache underneath. We are special, we are unique, just like everyone else. Stay tuned for the next one. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.